Hey mate, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah, it's my first ever.
First ever. We're popping your podcast virginity.
Yeah, man. I've been told. I've been warned to not say anything too crazy.
I'm going to make sure that we that we break that rule. To anyone who doesn't know, Crisna is a friend, a client, someone that I've known a long time through dance. And I want to chat about a few different things. But before we get into fitness or dancing or any of that, I just personally want to know a bit more about your background. Like, where'd you grow up? Like, what sort of, what kind of kid were you growing up? Let us go back in time, Crisna.
It's not that interesting.
Just bring it a bit higher to you.
Yeah. It's actually not that interesting.
Well, okay, where'd you grow up in Adelaide?
In Burton, so up north.
Yep.
Just a little suburb called Burton. And then went to school in Burton, high school in Paralawi for year 8. Then moved to a school in Prospect.
Around the corner, right here.
A very, very, very Christian school. But
was that primary or high school?
that was high school.
Yeah.
That was high school. What else is there?
Keeping the school name out?
Sorry?
Are we keeping the school name out?
Yeah. I don't want to mention any school. Don't want to mention that. But yeah, man, I was actually a very shy kid. Didn't like to do much. Didn't like to say anything. Hung out with my mum all the time. Didn't want to be away from her. And now it's different now. So yeah.
Okay, so your background is Cambodian? Yeah.
Cambodian.
Did mum and dad come here from Cambodia? Did you come with them? Was this before, were they already living here?
Yeah, so in the 80s, I'm pretty sure, they came over and then brought my whole family over. My dad came first and then got together with my mum and then the whole family came over.
Okay, so they met over here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
nice.
My whole family was born here.
Is there a pretty large Cambodian community in Adelaide or medium size?
Man, it's actually gone really, really big. There's Cambodians that I don't even know that's in Adelaide now. And usually they would be my cousin or something. But
okay, yeah.
Now it's just everyone.
So do you have a lot of family here in Adelaide?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of family. On my dad's side though.
Okay.
Mostly. My mum's side's all in Cambodia.
Okay, and you have a few siblings?
Yeah, older sister and a younger brother.
Older sister?
Yeah.
There we go, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Finding out new things about you.
Older sister, she's, I don't know, man, 35, I think.
Okay.
Brother's 27. Oh, shit. With a kid on the way.
Okay, oh, nice, yeah.
So I'm going to be an uncle, very excited.
Very cool. I've just become an uncle and it's pretty cool.
It's really
Does
cool.
your sister not have any kids?
No.
Oh, there we go. Oh, man, it's like the best. I didn't realize how cool it would be to be. It's
Very
like, it's
excited.
probably all the fun parts of being a parent without the bad parts of being a parent.
I think that's what I like. I can bring them or like have fun.
Yeah.
And then
Just
give
pass
them
them
back.
over when
If
they
they
need
start
to.
crying, yeah, just pass them off.
That's right. That's funny. So growing up, were you close to your siblings?
Man, we fought a lot, but we all shared one room because my parents would always have guests over and they would always get the spare room. And yeah, it'd be me, my sister, and my brother. Either one of us, two of us on the bed, one of us on the mattress on the floor. And yeah, we just, it was always us three together.
Yeah, nice. All right. So when I first met you, it would have been 5, 6 years ago now. And I met you at Latino Grooves.
Yeah.
So, look, man, I'll just be heaps honest and I'll sing you all the praises now. You've always been a wicked dancer. Even now that I realize that you might have actually not been dancing for that long when I first met you, but dude, you've always had the moves. Did you do dancing prior to doing salsa?
Never, man. I did. I mean,
no hip hop dancing?
Nah, nothing.
Man, you look to me like the kind of person who might have watched Stomp the Yard a few times.
Every time, I get a client, I tell them I do dancing and they're like, hip hop?
Yeah.
nah, Latin. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what's that? I'm like, salsa.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow. What's that?
It is. As people who do it all the time, it's we're so used to it. Yeah. But everyone else is like, salsa, what is that? Is there Doritos involved?
Yeah. I have no idea. But yeah, man, I haven't dance. I mean, I've only in primary school. You know the movie You Got Served?
Yeah. I love all those. I mean, I've always liked dancing. I've never been good at it and didn't do it, but I like frost all those movies growing up.
Me and my friends created a crew. Oh man!
See, there is more to this story.
It was so whack.
What was the crew called?
Oh, we didn't have a name, but like we like battled some other kids in primary school and danced. Oh, man, it was so lame. I don't.
Okay, so there was dance beforehand.
Yeah, but honestly, we did. I don't even know what we did. We just did some bullshit moves, started breakdancing. That's like, yeah. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah, you can curse. Yeah. There's no rules.
It was so shit.
This is the Wild West. All right. So, what brought you to? Was it LG the first place you started dancing at?
Yes.
Okay. What brought you to LG? LG stands for Latino Grooves for anyone listening.
I don't know if I want to say what brought me to LG.
You can give us like whatever you say goes.
I got brought over to LG through an ex-partner.
Okay. Same.
Yeah, and then just I did it and was really I caught up. I mean, I got it really quickly and really liked it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you do salsa to start with or bachata?
No, I did bachata first.
Okay.
It was my first love.
Yeah. What do you prefer now? Salsa. Yeah.
On two.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I'm still not sure what on two means. You've tried to explain it to me before, man. Like I'm still confused.
I don't know how to explain it. I just know how to dance to it, kind of, not well, but alright at it. It's how do I put it? All I know is that Eddie Torres created it, and that's probably most of the history that I know about it. People are gonna get really angry before, but yeah. All
right. So you started doing bachata. Did you, how quickly into dancing did you start doing performances?
So I actually did bachata for a term and then stopped because someone didn't want me to do it anymore. And then Julia asked me if I wanted to perform. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do something out of my comfort zone. And then I went from there. And also my cousin also got into it as well. So
yeah.
That's how we got started.
Cool. And you did your first performance in bachata?
Yeah, one song, one performance. Oh man, wow.
How did that feel the first time you went on stage?
Horrible. I like walking out on stage. I could feel my legs shaking. My vision was like black.
Yeah.
I was just nervous, man.
Now the reason why I say this is because you're like, I think you're probably one of the best performers that I've met around, and I don't just mean like in dance. Like you have a really good like stage presence. Like if you're shy, if you're scared, like that's not showing at all. Like you can turn on whatever it is that you're turning on when you're going on stage.
It's all fake, man.
That's all right. But like, do you know? Okay, you probably know what I'm saying when I'm talking about this. And did you have that straight away when you first performed, or was it something that you started developing over time?
I think it's something I developed over time, because I think also having like your peers with you, it's like for me it felt like sport. Like in a basketball team, you have teammates that you trust, and then that just kind of made me feel confident in what I was doing. I think by the third showcase that I did, I felt a bit more confident and a bit more comfortable on stage. But I still get nervous. I still get very, very nervous.
And when did you transition from just doing performances to realizing that you wanted to, compete in it?
I didn't want to compete at all.
You never wanted to compete?
I never wanted to compete.
How did you get sucked in?
So what happened?
Julia's convincing words?
No, so what happened was I said I didn't want to compete, and then they were like, okay, well, he doesn't want to compete, so I think they went a different direction. Because I know what I'm going to be like. Like when I compete, I want to do well. I don't want to just be average, I guess. But yeah, I think Lee was leaving. Lee Jenkins, he was leaving. And then they all kind of were like, Crisna needs to be in the team. So I'm like, fuck. Yeah, all right, no worries. And then, yeah, it just happened from there.
what was your first competition, like dance competition?
What was my first? World Tour Solo. In Brisbane.
Straight to the big leagues.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was the first, and tell you what, man, I was shitting bricks, like. But I think once I got out there and felt the energy from the crowd, that's what made me feel a lot better.
Yeah. Now, there's probably people going to be listening to this podcast who like maybe are dancers or like are on the up and coming and maybe have aspirations of like competing or taking their dancing further. Maybe let's segue into like some of the lessons you've learned about competing and like improving your dancing. I know that you you take it pretty seriously, like compared to like just how I've spoken to some other people about their dancing. Like you kind of really break things down, and you like, like that's how we had more of a relationship. Like you wanted to like improve like the strength conditioning side of things. So after you competed that first time, what were some of your thoughts that you had about your own dancing, and like what were some of the things that you thought to yourself, okay, like I need to start working on this to get better?
After I saw how good everyone else was around Australia, I was like, because I've never seen anything, I was like, holy fuck, like, I need to get better. And I think what I could see in myself compared to these guys, what I was lacking, and stuff like strength, technique, timing, and just basic fundamentals. And that's why I was like, I need to get stronger to lift these girls while I'm dancing, and then also need to be quicker as well. So, and my fitness, like dancing's not just, I mean, competitive dancing is not just, you do a certain move and then you're all good. Like you need to be able to do that move, like a difficult move, effortlessly. So that's my interpretation of.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like I mean, competitive dancing, especially salsa, like it's a lot of lifting.
Yeah.
And I don't think the issue is that the lifting that you're doing in that performance, it's that, let's say you have, like I've tried to break this down in my head, but like, let's say you have, I don't know, on average from the routines I've seen you guys do, you might have between like 10 and 20, 30 lifts, right? If you train like that routine, you might do that routine how many times in a class, like in your own private training?
We probably run it maybe.
Like per day that you get together, how many times would you run it?
Probably probably 10 times.
Yeah.
But like,
so then
4 of them would be like
full.
Yeah. And with lifts, with everything.
So like you're looking at like 120 lifts, and you're probably doing that more than once a week. So you're looking at so you're getting a lot of full body lifts of like a whole human's body weight.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's that little bit of, like maybe some dancers at the start probably will feel like they can get away with like not having strength, because a lot of the lifts do have some technique with it, right?
Yeah.
Like the partner is helping.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that all the time, like that compounds on your joints, on your muscles, and if you have the frame to be able to support it, you reduce your risk of injury and things of that nature.
It's also like, you can't just, I mean, everyone can lift their partners. It's just also lifting and being on time as well.
Yeah.
So that makes it a lot harder as well.
So the first takeaway that I've gotten from what you said is maybe going somewhere where you actually see people that are like at a higher level, because that like, it sounds like that was inspiring for you.
Yeah. No, it was an eye opener for me, realizing what's out there and what we have here. And I mean, I still believe it. I still feel like we're a lot stronger in so many ways. I guess I don't know how to say it. When they have so much of something, they kind of take it for granted. While us here in Adelaide are we don't have a lot of it. So we try to work as hard as we can to match those in the other states.
Yeah. Like, do you mean like they have more high-level teams that they can all compete against each other? Like maybe they're getting more exposure of like international dancers going in?
A lot more exposure to international dancers and stuff like that. And it's more competitive, I feel, out there. Adelaide, we have a small amount of people that want to compete and can commit.
Yeah. Now, what are some things that you would tell people that are maybe like intermediate like high intermediate level dancers that what should they be looking to work on or progress in their own like dance kind of like training to try and improve themselves to get to a stage where they can be a bit more competitive?
Um, Man, it depends on what they want. Like, they want to be a better social dancer. I guess
Let's talk like maybe if they want to be like they want to
competitive
do
dancer.
yeah.
I think if you want to be a good or competitive dancer, there's things that you need to work on, like stretching, making your body a bit more limb, ballet. You know, that teaches you lines and techniques and stuff like that. Um,
He's snoring away.
and it's just a lot of things like your basic, especially, and understanding music, understanding timing. So I would go to classes. Like last year, I did so many classes to just focus on the basic stuff, like my basic when I dance, and um, doing certain moves that are a lot easier and really extending and really trying to push your body to do certain moves to its full extent.
What do you mean by that?
So if you're doing like flares, you know, flares, you kind of, you know, you kick your leg out. Sometimes some people can be lazy. I'm lazy. I can say that I'm very, very lazy. Watching that in a video and seeing that makes me go, fuck, I need to do more and I need to be able to stretch. But I found out I was very limited, so I needed to kind of stretch my body and push my body to a point where it needs to reach a certain point.
Okay, so you're referring to like you like adding stretching so that
Yeah.
the move will actually look better.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're on stage.
Yeah, and I think that's really good advice to give people because a lot of people will sometimes think, I just need to dance more to get better at dancing, but you realize that you need to add these other elements.
Yeah, a lot more. Like I stretched for a whole year to try to get a high kick.
And that looks good, man.
Didn't get it, but
Oh, I mean, it kicks pretty high.
it's a lot better than it was. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point because I think a lot of times people may be listening like from a fitness background, like the goal in life is to have progress. Like maybe you aim, I like that saying, like aim for the stars, land on the moon. Like maybe you aim for the stars and you didn't quite get there, but if you still landed on the moon, that's still better than just being back on wherever it is that you're at.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important to give yourself those goals and like, yeah, maybe you're not there this year, but like because you started, now you're way closer than you were before.
Yeah, I think that's important too. I think progression is a lot better than anything, as long as you kind of stick to it though. Because I know it can be hard when you don't see any progress.
What has made you stick to some other things when you haven't seen progress, or like maybe when you've seen slower progress in them than other things?
I think a thing that made me realize a lot of things is just progression is my squats. I mean, I used to not be able to squat 40, 60 kilos. And now, what was my max? Like 150?
Yeah.
And that was built over time. And it wasn't what I saw, is how I felt. And that was progress for me. So,
What about with things like the stretching?
that was by feel as well.
Yeah.
So I could feel my leg going further and I could physically see. And then if you take progress shots, that helps as well. So as long as you know that, as long as you get doing things that, point you into the right direction and you just keep chipping away at it, you'll see progress. No matter how small, you'll see it. So there's nothing else that I can really give. I just feel like if you kind of just chip at something, eventually you'll get it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a really cool Will Smith story that he tells where he says that his dad taught him and his brother a lesson, when they were younger, and he would make them go to this property and he wanted them to build a house, and he said, well, how do we build the house? And he says, you put one brick on top of another brick, and they were like, oh, fuck, we're never gonna build this, and at the end of the day, they'd put a few bricks on, and then at the end of another day, they'd put a few more. But by the end of the summer, they'd actually built, a whole wall. And they realized, you that's how you do anything. You just gotta you got to start. Because I think sometimes people, let's say you're a dancer listening and you want to improve, you might have this attitude of like, oh, I'm only this good. But you can actually be as good as you want to be if you just decide to take, if you decide to take that step of like, I'm going to head that direction. The direction of like being better or being more nimble or supple, or I'm going to go in the direction of like trying ballet. Do you know what I mean? Like I could imagine so many guys don't want to do that because, it just doesn't sound like a manly thing. But then you realize, but then if I do it and I have that skill and then I look like awesome on stage when I'm performing, like, do you know what I mean? Like you realize how necessary that is.
Definitely, man. I think, we're doing ballet now. There's adult ballet classes at LG, and I'm doing it. It's hard. It's hard, like really, really hard. And you kind of see the teacher do what she does and then tell you to do it, and then you're over here looking like, you're like, what the hell? But, if I can kind of just get close to that, then I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, if I can point better, if I could do something, just one thing better than when I first started, then that's progress for me as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I chase that's the, what's the word? The feeling that I chase. If I can do something and I see results, just little, that's something that makes me go and work harder.
Those are some wise words, Crisna.
Thanks, man.
We're going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to come back and keep chatting to you.
Thanks.
And we are back. Another thing that I want to chat to you about is you had like a bit of a career change a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went from...
So I went from being a mechanic for about 6 years, straight out of high school, and then just really was really depressed, and then decided to give up and try barbering. It was something that my mate told me to do. I used to get a haircut every week. Every week I used to get a haircut from a friend of mine, and it used to be like my time of where I could like get away and forget all my problems and stuff like that. And then he told me he's like, why don't you try barbering? Get a part-time job, do it at TAFE, takes you 15 months. And I was like, fuck, yeah, why not? So decided to do it, and then I got really lucky, man. I got really, very lucky. Went to TAFE, and then got picked up by Tommy Guns. And then, Tommy Guns gave me a lot of opportunity. I met a lot of cool people in the industry. So I can say I'm pretty fortunate in this barbering industry. And now I work at a really cool shop, Habitat Barbershop.
What maybe is some like advice that you'd give people? And I think there's lots of people who would kind of get stuck in that. Like they get stuck in a career, in a profession, or in a job or a trade that they just don't like or they hate.
Yeah.
What would be some advice about like trying to do something different? Because I think people go, well, it's just better doing the devil, or like they just almost like don't realize that maybe they look at like, oh, I could do this in 15 months. But maybe they look at it like as 15 months seeming too long.
Yeah. And
after you've been through it and you've done it and you've changed, you realize, oh, that actually wasn't that long. And
my reasoning is very drastic though, because I was like, I remember being under a car, and I was like, I could die right now. So do I want to die doing this? What's the worst that can happen? So that's what made me take the leap. I was like, man, I don't want to freaking die under a car. If I'm gonna die, I'd rather do something else. I'll rather die doing something else. And so, if anyone wants to change career, honestly, I'm a big advocate for it. I reckon, go for it. It's it might seem scary, but honestly, it's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. I think I'm just so carefree, man. After I quit, there's just a lot of things happen at the time. So now I'm just like, whatever you want to do with your life, just go for it. It sounds very cliche, but I'm just so like carefree that it's like little things don't bother me anymore because of the changes that happen at that time.
Yeah, for sure. You got some pretty cool like opportunities like with barbering, like you like become an educator and you like
very lucky.
I've gotten to like travel around the world doing it.
Yeah, man. Because of Tommy Guns, you know, I got picked up and then got to become an educator for a clipper company, which was really, really good. It got me a trip to Vegas.
And what did you guys, were you guys competing in Vegas or demonstrating? What were you
No,
guys
we
doing?
just kind of met with the the American team, and then head office in America and stuff like that. And then they kind of showed us around and showed us what's new, what's happening, and yeah, taught us about the history about the company and stuff like that. So it was really, really cool. When I got a free, I didn't get a free, I got a Vegas trip. So it was a lot of fun.
That's wicked, man. That's cool. Better than being stuck in a car.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's better than being stuck in a 40-degree garage, like tin shed.
And that's like, and that's not to give, because I'm a big believer, like, everyone's going to like different things, right? But if it's not the thing you love, then like, that's kind of what I'm laughing at. I'm not laughing at the person who, like, if you are a mechanic and you love doing that, that's very different than like, or like maybe you work with people that you really like or whatever it is, but if you're doing that and you're not happy in it, very different.
Yeah. No, I would tell you to leave your job if you're a mechanic. I'm like, nah, you could do so much better.
What's bad about the job?
Ah, man, like, I mean, say what you want about me, but like, man, I hate my hands being all greasy. I hated it. Like,
Oh mate, I'm the most unhandy human being you've ever met. So you're preaching to the choir here.
I wash my hands at the end of the day. I'll go home, I'll make myself like a sandwich or something. And then just it's still black on the sandwich. And I'm like, fuck, this is rough.
Okay, yeah.
So just get out of there, man.
The grittiness of it, I see.
Yeah.
All right, so the next part that I want to direct the question to is we started training maybe like almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, man.
Over 2 years or not?
I think it's over 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I messaged you at the end of my first comp.
Yeah.
And I only trained maybe I didn't train that regularly. I probably did like a week, and then I was like, I better focus on comp.
Yeah.
And then after that year is when I was like, okay, I need to lock in.
Yeah. Look, you've accomplished lots of things training-wise at the moment. Before we get into the start, we're training you for a half marathon.
Yeah, man. I'm just like, it might even be a marathon, but I don't want to. I don't want to focus on too many goals.
Yeah.
I just have one goal, and I'll run to a friend's house, which is 21 Ks. It's got like 250 meters of elevation. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
How many weeks from now is it?
Well, it's going to be the end of Feb.
Yeah, so 4 weeks.
So I'll probably do it March sometime, 5 a.m. because I'm not going to run in this heat.
Yeah, or it should be cooler by then.
It should be cool by then, hopefully.
Yeah.
So either end of Feb or beginning of March.
Yeah.
Is when I'll
Look,
run.
man, I've been seeing you running in this heat. If you can do it in this heat, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, man. Look, I ran.
Do you remember? So, was it maybe a year ago? You were telling me that you wanted to run, and you were telling me, but I can't run. You're like, I can't run more than like 1K.
Yeah.
And that was like, I kept trying to program 5Ks for you to run.
Yeah.
And it took so long for you to like
get there.
I'm like, you're like, I can't do it. And
you're like, just run.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just run. And I did. And then I ended up doing like 7Ks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is.
Yeah. And then you did City Bay.
Yeah, then I did City Bay. Like that was killer.
And you smashed it. Almost 60 minutes for it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we would have gotten under 60, but we just had a goal of like keeping a pace.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to tire myself out. I didn't know. Like I was. Yeah, it's crazy. I probably would have. I mean,
like looking back at that, we did that at a talking cruisy pace because we said we'll do 6-minute Ks for 12 Ks.
Yeah, which was wild.
Yeah, and we actually went over like at the start. We got a bit excited.
Yeah, I pulled a stitch, I think, in the middle of it, but that was because I ran and got some water. But what's fucking hectic now is just, I'm doing 12 Ks. Like, yeah, okay, I'll just go do 12 Ks. That's wild to me. I used to be like, nah, I can't do 5K.
Yeah. We're going to have this conversation in the future about a marathon, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
A marathon does suck, though. I will tell you that.
Man, like, you know what I hate the most is like, so one time I was running like, I think I was running 15 Ks, and I stopped to take a piss at like 10 Ks. and then I felt my body just kind of like feel so exhausted, and I continued running, and that felt so crap. So I just need to run and non-stop.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
anytime you stop or you like let the body cool down, it
Yeah.
will affect it a bit differently. Um, One of the things that I think has been really good about working with you is that you've done this thing that I wish all clients did, which is just you follow the program. Um, what what made you, I guess, have you always been like that? If somebody says do this, like you do it? Because the amount of people, like I probably train thousands of people every year, and the amount of people that just actually do the program and then see results is very small. But everyone who does like whether it's weight loss or training, but the amount of people that they just don't follow the plan, right? Like they want to tweak it, they want to change it, like they want to add things to it, or they want to take something away from it. What have you always been the sort of person that's like that has that trust in the program? Was it that you trusted me? What was it about that type of situation?
Um, well, I mean, I just wanted a goal, and then like I'm not gonna question your profession. You know, like you don't come get a haircut from me and go.
Do you get that though with people coming to get
Yeah.
haircuts from you? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I know what they want. As long as I know what they want,
Yeah.
I can do what they want and what they want, what kind of hairstyle they want to achieve. But yeah, I just feel like I mean, it's easier for me. It's very easy because I can just have a check. I'm like, okay, what I'm doing today, just check it off, and then I'm all good. But yeah, I just feel like it works.
were there times where you were like, that wasn't enough, but you just trusted it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was easy. But then the thing is like, I never think of it as like, oh yeah, that's not enough. Because it's like, I've done what I needed to do and trust that. I mean, either way, I'm working out for an hour. That's better than not doing anything. So, and usually what your programs, it's always something like really, really heavy and really hectic, like the first two exercises, and then it kind of calms down a bit for me. And then it's like one where I can kind of take a bit more rest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. Out of like all the PBs you've hit, what was the one that you felt the proudest of? Like, was it like the deadlift, the squats, like running?
probably the squat. The squat is like,
And was it like, what weight squat was it the one that you felt like the most proud of yourself? Because like, for example, I know you've like squatted, I think we got up to like 152.
yeah.
And, but was it that weight or was it when you just got to like 100? Because you'd never, do you know what I mean?
It was when I squatted 120 really, really easily. When I squat and I was like, oh fuck. And then I did it. I did it for like, I think 3 reps and I was like, fucking hell. And I mean, obviously, I think because at the time, I mean, the other programs, feedback, I remember you would make me do it, but you'd only make me do like 1 rep. And obviously I'd struggle a little bit, but then we kind of start lower weights and then build up again to that weight. And then I'll build up to like 3 reps on 120 and I'll feel amazing. So when I felt doing 3 reps at 120, that's when I was like, yeah, sick. I'm getting stronger.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. That is a thing that I think people sometimes don't think about enough, like with their training progressions. Like people sometimes get lost in this kind of like idea of just chasing more weight, but sometimes doing something that you've done in the past, but doing it better is like even like better progress. And I think I view like a little bit of dance like that. You know, like the longer I've been around it, like when you first start, you kind of just want to do like fancy moves.
Yeah.
Like you just want to show off, especially when you're dancing with a girl, like you just want to show off that you know something cool.
Yeah.
But then as you get better at dancing, you realize that you can make something simple
Look really
good. Or you start realizing that other people who are better than you are making something really simple look really good. And you start realizing, oh, like it's not just about doing lots or something flashy. It's like you can make that, like somebody who's really good at salsa will make a basic step look wicked.
Yeah, man.
Like versus somebody who's not good but tries to add lots of turns or...
Yeah, I think man, with social dancing, with what you're saying, man, I have 4 moves, but you know, like there's like variables where like I exit and stuff like that. But man, I've seen pros do something as simple as like a hair comb looked cool, and I'm like, I want to do that. But he did it to the music. So like, if you can kind of, I think follows have a lot more fun when you can kind of make them feel the music or understand what you're trying to hit or what part of the music you're trying to interpret. So I think that's why you stick to basics, and then that kind of makes it a bit more effective.
Yeah, for sure. What we're gonna switch back to dance. What are some of the main differences that you notice between someone being good at social dancing versus being a competitor, or what are the differences?
I feel like a lot of competing dancers don't want to do social because, man, I mean, this is just my personal experience and a lot of the team. We train so hard, man, and we dance a lot. Like it's 2 hours, and then some of us train more than that. And the last thing we want to do is just dance. But it is fun. Someone that's really really good at social dancing, I feel, my personal opinion, when I see someone dancing to the music and trying to interpret the music and making the girl also feel the music, that's someone who's a really really a really good social dancer. But I mean, we all start somewhere, so I mean.
Do you think people get trapped in the trap of just doing social dancing and then they're not improving their actual dancing? Or do you think you can improve it by just doing more social dancing?
Yeah, you can improve by doing more social dancing. Like, I feel like if you're in your head about I need to do this move, this move, this move, then you're just gonna stay like that. But if you kind of go, I'm gonna try this move, and then I know this song, I'm gonna try this move, and then maybe stop, do something that I've learned from class, and then try to build on a move. Like say, you can only do like crossbody right turns or something like that, and then your next social dance you have a crossbody right turn, and then you do a turn, and so you just build on something like that. I feel like that makes a lot of people better dancers as well.
Yeah. Do you think people, what loop do you see people get stuck in the most? Do you see people get stuck in the loop of doing some class, lots of social dance, not enough classes? And when I say class, I mean more like not working on technique. Or do you see people get stuck on the loop of too much classes, not enough social dancing, like everything's too choreographed, like not learning enough of going on the fly?
I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I feel like depends on how you take what you learn in class and put it into practice, right? But a lot of people now just learn a choreographed like pattern or like turn pattern or like move, and then they'll just rinse and repeat that, which is cool. And I don't know, man. I've seen some people do some crazy stuff to a certain type of music, and I'm like, damn.
Okay, so you're saying they've like learned chore, but then they're not applying it to the right music, or not feeling like the vibe of like what the song is telling them.
Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I guess, I mean, and it's different, right? So I'm not gonna judge a beginner for doing that. They're just learning.
Yeah, you're not talking about beginners who just like, you're saying people who maybe know how to dance or have been doing it for a while.
Who have been doing it for a few years and, still doing the same kind of, like, I mean, if you're going to get taught how to dance or a certain way, you're just going to keep dancing until you kind of learn yourself to understand, okay, I need to dance to the music because it's a lot more fun. Dance to the music. It's a lot more fun, trust me. It's hard though.
It is hard. I think that's a good place to leave the podcast at, brother.
Thank you.
If people want to find you or follow you, do you want to be followed? And if so, where can they do so?
Just follow my barbering page and send all the people to come get a haircut from me. My socials is barber sna.
SNA?
SNA. What is it? .hb. HB Have a Chat Barbershop. And then my main is Life of Sna. Life.of.sna.
Awesome. I'll make sure that that's written out in the link in descriptions for anyone who's keen to give Crisna a follow. And thank you so much.
Follow me on my dance journey.
But yeah, that's it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.